There are many signs that the AI bubble is starting to pop, or at the very least, it's not as bubbly as it used to be. Okay, uh, some of the best examples of this are Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft. Apple, it got into the artificial intelligence by saying that it's going to create Chat GPT, uh, its own version of Chat GPT. Microsoft came out with Chat GPT first. But they say they're going to do the same thing, okay? And it's a huge company that by necessity has to use lots of artificial intelligence. Tesla, they use artificial intelligence with their cars. You're teaching a car to drive, you're using artificial intelligence. So far, Apple was approaching $200, and it's come down in the last week, and it's like at 178. Microsoft, it was in the high 360s, and now it's mired down at about 330. Tesla was at around 466, and now it's kind of fighting to get above 450. So we see how these stocks have come to a standstill. And I think a lot of it is waiting for the inflation number to come out on Thursday, August 10th. I think that's going to set things in motion. And I think it's probably not going to be that good of a number. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a poor number, simply because of the year-on-year comparisons. And there's other companies involved with artificial intelligence. SNAP and AMD have suffered for different reasons. AMD is second only to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the engine of artificial intelligence, and it has soared as high as getting close to 470. And now, it's below or at or around 450. And AMD is second only to NVIDIA. And AMD, the problem with them, and a problem for a lot of these companies, they cannot show immediate revenue increases. It's all stuff that's going to happen in the future. And AMD, they're saying, well, artificial intelligence is going to be worth 150 billion in 2027. Okay, 2027, you might as well say someday over the rainbow, you know. I don't think that impressed people that much. With Snap, their problem is that it costs a lot of money to get artificial intelligence fully integrated into your platform. And they had to spend so much money on getting artificial intelligence into their platform that it kind of negated the revenue increases they were seeing. And also there's other stocks I love, like AI, which is C3AI, whose symbol is AI. Okay, they do artificial intelligence software. They basically do everything for the company. Okay, and they were riding along, doing fine. They were going to 44, and I think now they're struggling in the 30s, somewhere around 34. So the sheen has been taken off these stocks. The balloon is not flying as high as it used to. It started to sag. They need a little more of an uplift. They need an uplift draft from seeing that inflation is decreasing, and we will find that out on August 10th, Thursday. So where are we in this current bubble? How much further does it have to run, if any? Studies on previous bubbles in the stock market have noted that these bubbles tend to go up to about 150% on average. Okay, if you take NVIDIA and some of the large cap stocks as proxies for the AI boom, uh, you would say NVIDIA's gone up 200%. A lot of other stocks like Tesla have gone up close to 200%, or certainly over 150%. So the idea is we're probably in the late innings of the AI boom. I think this is a trend that's going to continue for years, but I think we're at the beginning of the trend, and we're going to need a pause here. And I think we're going to get it with the inflation numbers on Thursday, August 10th. A major turning point could come soon with NVIDIA reporting earnings late on August 23rd. And if they come out and say that their revenue has come up to 11 billion for the quarter, more than they've ever made in any previous quarter, I think the AI boom is on again. But I think it reminds me back in the dot-com boom and crash. The problem is we could see how valuable the internet was going to be, but it took 10 to 15 years for it to start to realize its real potential. Okay, and I think with artificial intelligence, it could be a little bit faster than that, just because everything moves faster nowadays. But I think we could have like a 5-year run up, and I expect it to kind of slowly keep going up, but I think in 5 years, that's when we really start to rock and roll with it, like we did with the internet. Only it's only going to take artificial intelligence 5 years instead of it taking 10 to 15. In many ways, this might be the most confusing market I've been in, and that's saying something when you're almost 70 years old. The United States is in a quandary, okay? It's having a run up in the stock market, and we think we've got inflation under control better than many countries, certainly better than England. England's inflation is really bad. But we have signs of deflation in the world too. I've never seen such a contrast between countries having inflation problems like England and other countries being in deflation. China is suffering because of their deflation, and Germany is in a recession right now. So you would think that would have a deflationary effect on the United States. Of course, I think it's important what other countries do with their interest rates. As they raise their interest rates, they make the US dollar go down, which makes our stock market go up. Whereas when they decrease their interest rates, that makes their currency go down, and the United States dollar goes up, which causes our stocks to go down. So it's kind of a jumbled mess right now. I think in the short term, we're going to have a little bit worse inflation numbers, and the stock market's going to take a breather. And I expect that breather to continue probably into October. But I think the economy is just so strong. I mean, the fact that we can have over 5% interest rates and it doesn't crash. If they would have done this a couple years ago, the economy would have crashed. But things have shaped up enough that we have a strong economy that can actually withstand the 5% interest. And right now, I'm mostly in cash, collecting the 5% interest until I get some definitive sign of what's happening. And there will be 2 definitive signs. There's always things that can happen in the world that will affect things massively, and I will take note of those. But right now, what I can foresee is we have a little bit worse inflation number on Thursday, August 10th, and then we have a much better revenue report by NVIDIA on August 23rd. And I think that's going to start an upswing, hopefully. So that's my short-term plan. My long-term plan, longer term, we have to see how it goes. I expect September and October are usually down months, okay, traditionally. And I'm cautious during that period. But if NVIDIA reports wonderful revenue, I will be investing in spite of that. If NVIDIA comes out with revenue less than 11 billion, I'm staying out and maybe waiting for a bottom in the market sometime in October, and hopefully getting in at that point. And I may do a mix of ETFs and individual stocks, which I will share with you, and then wait for the holiday uptick. And so we can have a happy new year. Thanks for listening and watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. Stay tuned. We're in for a wild ride.